They
in a game that
this time.
I feel like they really had no business winning, you know, from the game state that they got themselves into.
Yeah.
But Bolulu was a really big part of that. And, you know, another pick that you had mentioned to me that he's really known for in NACL is actually his Vel'Koz.
Yes,
So
sir.
I would love to see him actually, you know, continue to go away from the meta towards his own personal strength, because people are going to be less comfortable playing against those picks anyway.
Now, I mean, you saw in the Garen game earlier today, it's not something that Sunday was known for, but as Vulcan said, it's like, well, we started taking notice of the Garen because Usader was playing it a lot from Wildcard. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Garen is really good into this specific champion. And we know historically that Vel'Koz is usually strong into control mages like Azir, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Gori's going to be busting out Azir anytime soon. He's mostly been favoring things like the Yone and the Sylas as of recent, but if that is something that's on the table and Golden Guardians kind of have a lapse of knowledge of like, oh yeah, by the way, Bolulu's other really good pick is Vel'Koz himself, and they don't have that preparation, maybe we'll see it, but I would not be surprised if Bolulu just goes back to something standard like a Sylas.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. You know, he has had, I think, a bit of a different champion pool than what we had been kind of seeing from Blaze Olive. You know, you mentioned the Sylas, the Zoe is his second most played, you know, after that. So it is a little bit of a step away. Of course, he still does have the Azir in there. He still has some of those other champions. So just fun to see a player actually come in and bring confidence and bring their style. And I also like that Immortals, it felt like kind of rallied around him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they were playing heavily through him. We saw that Kenvi was over towards mid lane quite a lot, actually playing with Bolulu, you know, trying to look for those early kills even through mid lane, you know, trying to find opportunities to really enable him and to have him feeling confident on the stage, because that's such a big part of having success. When you're put into this new situation, you're thrown onto a new team, you haven't had a lot of time to scrim with them, you've got to keep that confidence.
Yeah, and it was one of the things that Bolulu mentioned, I think it was his interview yesterday, where he talked about he loves playing with carry junglers, which is why he works so well with Chad, who is the Immortals Challengers jungler, who's also very much a carry player, very well known for his Rengar.
Tell me how Kenvi got famous. What kind of champions does he play?
Carry junglers.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's a good fit right here. And, you know, one of the things that we thought in the past that maybe would work is if Kenvi had a mid laner that was willing to give up resources so that he could enable Kenvi in aggressive invades. Obviously, the first round robin of the spring split, not many carry junglers that you can really get onto other than the Kindred or the Elise, right?
Yep.
But Kenvi has mostly been stuck on Sejuani, Vi duty, Maokai duty for the most part. But if it enables the team, then he's willing to make those aggressive moves for the sake of his mid laner here.
And I mean, surprise, surprise, 2 out of their 3 wins. 1 game on Kindred, won that. 1 game on Graves, won that, right? Their only other win was yesterday. It was on a Vi, right? But it wasn't a game that was as much about him. So I do think that's, again, another example of Immortals when they are playing towards their individual preferences and strengths, their individual comfort, they look a lot better. Because let's be honest, they've just been worse than the competition at playing the meta, right? So if that is not working for you, you need to find a way to stop imitating the teams above you in the standings and start innovating and playing in your own unique style.
It's what TSM did. I mean, Solo wasn't playing, you know, Ksante and Fiora every single game. He was playing tanks before, before everyone else thought it was cool. So it's something that we always encourage, especially of teams that are lower in the standings as well. It's like, don't feel the need to play what everyone else is playing. Just play your own style and try to improve on that.
And I mean, I think it is really important to play the meta, but, you know, if you have your own flavor, if you're a master of specific champions that are less popular, you can still not always pick them every game, but you can find windows and you can find areas where they can be really successful. Or you can, at the very least, maybe draw some bans or make your opponents kind of nervous about them. So I still think there's always that value in being able to have these picks. Licorice going right back to the Renekton. They've been playing Renekton Sejuani a lot. It's the most played for River and Licorice. Licorice largely, I don't think has been that lane dominant on the Renekton, though, I will say. You know, he's been more doing things like the Jack Show Renekton and these kind of more tanky styles where he just uses it to get prio in lane, and then it's more playing for the team fights.
Yeah. All right. If you're hoping for a Vel'Koz, I don't think we're going to see it because you do have to blind it, and Gori could easily counter it. Now, one of the times I did remember seeing him play Vel'Koz, he picked it willingly into an Akali, and we're like, why did you do that? It's good for lane. Was it good for the team fight? No, it was trash, but you know. But he's gonna go with the Ahri. This has been something that has been popping up a lot more ever since those buffs.
Yeah, he does have 1 game played on it. You know, this split in NACL did win on it. Not a lot of games. He's actually 1 game in his career. So, you know, not even just the one game this split, which he does have. That is the only game he's actually played Ahri in his career. So yeah, as you say, it is getting a lot more popular. Gori, though, going to be going for an aggressive pick here. He's solo AP on the LeBlanc, so Revenge, I think, is going to have a pretty easy time with his itemization. Potentially Kenvi could actually get some armor in there as well. Yeah, so that's something that they're going to have to potentially worry about a little bit. But we'll have to see how he's going to be able to handle this pressure, because when you have something like LeBlanc, the setup for those junglers can be really, really powerful, right? If you can actually get the chains down, it can be so dangerous with Sejuani coming in, especially post 6. You know, really easy to force things like that defensive Ariel. And if you have that Ariel being forced out defensively, you lose really all your pressure in the lane. You lose that kill threat. Whereas LeBlanc is going to have a much easier time staying safe. You just need the distortion up to be able to dodge these ganks or really be able to stay safe in those situations.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if River also wanted to just attack mid lane early, right? Because you don't have access to Spirit Rush early on, you can be susceptible to just... There's no shot. All right, well,
they preserve the mental, and then we got in there, and maybe we won or we lost. But for the sake of this story, we won.
We did win the next game.
Oh, there you go. I don't even remember, but I'm going to believe you.
All right, well, we're in our last game of the day here of week number 6. Wow, we're more than halfway through the split. We're closing in on the second round Ramen as well, and then playoffs are going to come. Now we're going to go Raleigh. Oh, this is...
30 seconds until the minions
It's so crazy that time has flown by this quickly. I felt like yesterday was week 1.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. You get into the LCS schedule. I feel like I started last week. I've been here for 8 years. Doesn't take long. It's weird. Uh-oh.
Death sentence from Huhi connects, and that forces an early heal from Fleshy. Well, no deaths, but yeah, you're down a summoner spell in the 2v2.
And you're down a potion, realistically, right? Because he's going to be missing 200 health. So, you know, if he wants to be starting lane at full health, he's going to have to actually pot pretty much right away. Because Huhi didn't commit his Ignite, right? So it wasn't even a trade. So if you actually get hooked, you know, if he hits level 2 and you get hooked and you're at full health, then you're just going to die. So there's the potion. He's already going to have to leave that running. So you're basically down a summoner and you're down half of your sustain from that. Damn. Is he playing cookies? Let's see. I'm going to check his runes right now. He's not playing cookies. He is playing Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. So he's playing more of that kind of scaling runes, which I think is great. He's even playing Gathering Storm. So he's playing for late.
Wow.
No Scorch, no cookies. LS will be pleased.
Immortal saying, all right, guys, no matter what happens.
Late game is ours.
Yes, we have late game. 20 minutes, if we're down 10,000 gold, believe we will.
I do love to do that. Anytime I'm playing Gathering Storm and someone on my team dies, I just ping Gathering Storm. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Late Game Kingdom.
Maybe I should have pinged Gathering Storm on my Nidalee.
Oh, did you have Gathering Storm?
No.
That might have convinced me.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, see? I knew it. You're a dirty early game. Probably playing like Electrocute, Scorch Secondary, you know? You're up 5 CS. We got this, guys. Get out of here with that.
Sometimes you just have to move on. Well, so far nothing too much interesting has been of late. It's just the standard early game. As I say that.
Standard early game, get invaded on, lose your heal, lose your potions.
Well,
what kind of standard early game are you playing here, Raaffaa?
We ignore that.
Okay.
That doesn't fit my narrative here.
Okay, true. It doesn't. I agree. Yeah. You are right about that. Might not have been right about the standard thing, but that you got nailed.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll wrap around. Once people have forgotten about the invade, see, you could have gotten away with it. You just had to wait. If nothing had happened at 5 minutes, you could have been like standard early game.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay, definitely not standard.
All right, Huhi's scripting, so definitely not standard now. 3 for 3 on the hooks. That's point and click.
Yeah.
He's gotten a heal, and then he got a cleanse. Got both potions.
They are setting up this bot lane for success for Stixxay. I mean, we've talked a lot about and given a lot of credit to Stixxay having a comeback split, and probably the best one he's had, you know, in a few years.
In a lot of years.
Yeah, but Huhi also, oh my goodness. Huhi has just been as damn good, and also sharing the credit for setting up Stixxay for success as well.
I mean, I think Huhi has been really good. I think people will kind of laugh at some of the, like, the memeable moments, you know, the flash finding in the minions, things like that.
Sure.
But, you know, you shouldn't be kind of, oh God, as Kenvi's in a lot of trouble. That chain is going to connect.
Yeah,
He's dead.
and Kenvi is dead to rights. That's first blood for Gori.
Yeah, he tried to flash it, but it's the extendo chain, man. Go gadget. LeBlanc is just cheap with that. The range just goes so far on that chain. You get locked down, you're toast. didn't respect the Sejuani. He kind of just straight up walked into him, wanted to mess around with him on that scuttle, and that is really dangerous here.
And a little curious, too, because
he sees it.
Yeah, I mean, Bolulu's also pushed in, so he has no right to be checking that river in the first place.
Yeah, he is no prio up on that side. But the strangest thing to me was he didn't immediately try to retreat when he saw River. It felt like he wanted to go for, like, oh, maybe we'll just kind of see if I can push him off or something, or didn't really realize how much trouble he was potentially in there. But, you know, gives over a freebie, and it's first blood onto the LeBlanc, who is playing, you know, this Ignite LeBlanc, who wants to be playing ahead of the pace of the game, and now, thanks to him, is definitely going to be.
Oh, okay. That does not lit, but Tactical just holding himself composed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he actually didn't have to burn flash there. Just good dodge.
Yeah, really good dodge. He dashes to the side. You know, Huhi didn't wait on the predict. He tried to go for the play, the instant hook, and he kind of just did it in line with his play, which is fine. But Tactical had the read there, dashes to the side, and it ends up being, you know, that flash for nothing, really. So, well done. Immortals getting something back on that bot side. They're going to need to, because, you know, you look towards mid lane, even the buy is so much better for Gori. He's going to be having the CS even up quite a bit because he actually dropped quite a few minions, you know, on his base. He's not playing DP as opponent is, but he has a Lost Chapter buy here, which is going to be feeling really, really nice. Has the red buff as well. So you have red buff, you have Ignite still available, you have Lost Chapter, you're going to be putting on some pressure.
That's the big thing for Golden Guardians this game. I mean, not to say that they don't really have scaling to combat Immortals into later in the game. There's always a point where LeBlanc can just one-shot someone past the level 16 mark. But it does really feel like Golden Guardians want to push the pace of this game. They don't want to let the game idly sit by and let, you know, we already talked about the Gathering Storms that are in the pockets of some of these Immortals members. They want to take the game by the reins. And when a LeBlanc is already off to a start like this, you get that first item power spike, you start looking for roams and picks, and man, Golden Guardians, we're going to see that explosion in the mid game. Yeah,
it's going to be looking potentially really good for them. You know, mid lane going really well, bot lane's going well, top lane, you know, slightly in their favor here. Licorice just kind of doing his job, just hard shoving through bot. River hanging around here on bot lane, trying to see. I don't think he was spotted as he actually stepped in that brush. Now is going to reveal a little bit, but it's Gori just making a roam down here towards the bottom side, trying to see if he can actually find Kenvi on a camp. And they're just going to be starting up this dragon because they have the 2v2 pressure through bot. They have mid push. So they have all of the kind of check boxes checked here to be able to safely do this. Even vision around on multiple sides. Huhi checks out that tri-brush. They have pinks on the other side. So they're not really going to be surprised here. And it's going to be a very fast early dragon soloed up by your Sejuani. It's great.
And it's a minute before Rift Herald spawns. Kenvi is going to try to make an attempt on top side. Licorice being pushed in by the all-out, flashing away from Kenvi because he doesn't have that cease and desist. There's no further lockdown to get this crocodile.
Yeah, not going to be able to actually lock him down. I wonder if he could have greeted out the flash, but the more I think about it, the more I like that he actually flashed to preserve his health. Because flashing early there means he avoids all the damage from Kenvi, which means he can actually collect the farm out his turret. Because if he had TP in that situation, I think you greet out the flash, but because he didn't, they're not going to. Nice engage.
Looking for Fleshy. Oh, the patience from Fleshy, flashing away once he saw the Glacial Prison emerging from River's body. Well played.
Yeah, well played there. I wonder if he could have held it a little bit longer, though. You know, you hit that play slow, you're playing Glacial Augment. Gori, look at this solo!
Gori doesn't have flash, though, so Bolulu is able to get out just fine.
Yeah, a lot of near misses. Oh, God.
Gotta be careful, Bolulu. I mean, Gori still does a little bit of damage. Huhi looking for the Hex Flash.
Yeah, nicely sidestepped by Fleshy, but it's going to be 2 plates going their way. All of the farm is being lost here. Zeri's not going to get there for any of that farm. Repeat up towards Licorice is nice, but Kenvi not feeling he could actually pull the trigger there as Revenge didn't have the angle to actually get over. So sure, Fleshy gets a little bit of this farm, but you lose that full wave and the wave is going to push away from you. You are now down 22 CS in bot lane, plus 2 plates go the other way. Like, just look at the buys.
Yeah.
It's not even close to even.
Yeah.
And Zeri does generally go for 2-2 Boost Rush. Stixxay's foregoing that though, which means he's going to have Shield Bow so far ahead of when Tactical gets his, and he's going to be running that lane.
Kenvi stayed just to make this gank work. His level 6 cease and desist. Licorice has no flash, but he still is able to get out alive all that time spent, and they don't get anything.
Yeah, he was waiting around there for a really long time, and now River is like, well, you just spent your resources. I'm just going to actually start up this Herald. I wonder if he could have just gone in with the Q and then tried to hold the ult till after the Slice and Dice is used to actually lock him down. Because what ended up happening, it looked like, is he uses the ulti, which put him on the other side of the Renekton, and gave him the free Slice and Dice, right? So I think, you know, pulled the trigger a little bit early there. Revenge also not quite in position to be able to follow up. So it feels like one of those things. I think every jungler has had this at times, where you're over-invested into a play, and you get into that mindset of the sunk cost fallacy, where it's like, well, I've been here for a minute. I gotta get something.
It's gotta work out. And now, don't tell me Revenge is in a world of trouble as well. The all-out from him gets him closer to the turret, and the last-minute shield keeps him alive. But I want to talk about the repercussions of what Kenvi's choices versus River choices are so far, because the bot lane that River prioritized, they got a first dragon, they got some plates for themselves. Kenvi tried to spend time on the top side. They couldn't really translate that into Rift Herald either, and they're still down plates.
Yeah, and he was behind 3-4 camps, right? So I do think
oh, man.
Oh, come on. He's having a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's been going really, really well for Golden Guardians, right? I'm honestly shocked that it's a 1-0 game. It feels like there will be way more kills. There's been so many near misses and a lot of pressure coming out from both sides, right? We've had the bot lane getting pressured so heavily by Huhi and Stixxay. We had Gori almost get a solo kill in mid lane. We had Licorice almost die, then Revenge almost die, right? Like, it has been a really action-packed 1-0 game. But it is a 2.2k gold lead here for Golden Guardians. We're kind of winning across the board now. You start to actually look at the gold leads here. You look at the CS, you know, winning top. Jungle has more farmers, got more objectives. Winning mid, winning bot, right? Like,
it's all winning.
But as Cloud9 will always tell you, the CSD for support is heavily in the favor here of Immortals. So it's all fine. That's the capper on the point.
It's an old meme, sir, but it checks out. Well, Golden Guardians are in a great place to really hit this mid-game stride. First item spikes not collected just yet, but as we saw from the gold drafts, Shield Bow finally comes in for Stixxay.
You're a liar.
Once again, I've been lying a lot, unintentionally on the broadcast. Unintentionally.
Pathological. It's a worry.
Oh no.
You've been here for a couple of weeks. You're getting just so comfortable, you know?
Well, I don't know if Revenge is going to be comfortable in a couple of seconds here. River and Huhi are here for the 3-man dive, and an all-out I don't even think is going to get used, because Revenge just gets bursted down without any chance for a counterplay.
Yeah, my boy was all out of options. He got 100 to 0 CC. Never got a chance to play his character. Nicely done. As the follow-up is there, you know, they have so much CC layering, and they did it really, really well between Sejuani and Thresh, as well as the Renekton stun, everything working in their favor. And now Bolulu really feeling the pressure here from Gori. Does get a nice trade, but the fact that there was a cannon wave that's actually trading back made that a lot more even. This is going to be a full first turret. Feels like it's a while since I've saw it. A Herald just crack first turret like that, because they do so much less damage in the early stages now that usually you're just getting like a plate, sometimes 2 plates if one has already been chipped away at. So not really able to get much in most cases, but in this one, it's now 4K at 12 minutes. And this game is already starting to feel a little bit doomed.
And it's just been one swift move, corrective decision from Golden Guardians, recognizing, okay, bot lane has been accelerated. They've gotten, what, 3-4 plates by themselves?
No.
Oh, I don't know if you want this one. River's there over the wall. They get the wall throw to give him a little bit of back. Gori is taken down, and Bolulu at least gets a kill on the trade. But man, that felt deep.
Yeah, that was real deep. I mean, that was nicely played by Gori. Very quick reaction time. He goes forward. I think he had the sweeper up. He saw that they were in there, and then immediately distorts back, then alt distortions back to his turret, then flashes under his turret. So he closed so much distance there with the Vi coming in. River's able to get over there, help him immediately. Great reactions from him. I mean, had Ahri not gotten the kill, this is like one of those moments where you don't want to play anymore, right? So at least they get something, but yeah, pops the sweeper. He's going to go in. He sees him, distort back, then double distort back towards the turret, then flash towards the turret. River's like, right in the area to help. Flashes over the wall very quickly. The Vial is just putting him in such an awkward spot. Like, Lulu also is available for Fleshy to keep him alive for a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, at least Bolulu got something from it, but it's that desperation. You can start to feel they know they need to make plays. They need to find some avenue of attack, because they're literally losing everywhere. Every lane is losing, jungle's losing, there's nothing going in their favor, and you have to have somewhere to attack, somewhere to play through. And their only real way to do it is the Vi, because that's their only real playmaker right now. So, you know, it's pressure on Kenvi, which I think is why he's feeling like, I gotta get somewhere, I gotta make something happen.
Yep. And the other thing, too, is at least Immortals drafted this Ahri with the Vi, because oftentimes we might criticize like, oh, it's a lone Vi pick, but there's no diving threats behind it. But unfortunately on that time, the way that Gori spaced out the distortions, that's a one-way trip for the Vi.
Yeah.
Ahri can't follow up in that instance. And so these picks from Immortals, yes, you're going to have to just fish for some desperation plays and pray that it works. Unfortunately, that is going to be a time where like no one can really follow you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just takes so many charges of your ulti to even get in range that you're not getting any of that damage, and then by the time it's delivered, it's very, very late. But to me, that's much more of an outplay from Gori than a play. You know, that was just really well done from him. Very quick reactions, quick thinking, pulls him all the way back. And then River as well. River instantly flashes over the wall to be there, right? So this was that quick thinking and quick reactions from Golden Guardians that we've come to expect from River and Gori. Yeah. They have been such a strong mid-jungle duo. They are easily one of the best in the league. And, you know, from name power, it's not something that I think people were, like, super excited about coming into the split.
Sure.
But obviously, we were wrong, and we should be excited about these guys. And I think a lot of people are starting to stand up and take notice. Golden Guardians is no joke. You know, their 7-game win streak had been broken, but they're looking like they're in a great spot to win this one. As nice attempt from Huhi, can't quite find it.
Yeah. And it's not like their win streak was broken by, you know, a team that they didn't expect to have trouble against. It was from Licorice, right? So, like, this is... For Golden Guardians, we expect them now to be a strong contender for playoffs at this point, just based off of the play that we have seen. We've already given multiple credit to one of the strongest jungle mid duos in the league. Stixxay and Huhi also having resurgence. Yeah. Even Licorice had one of his better weeks last week as well.
I mean, I would go a lot further than saying, you know, playoff contention. I think they're title contention. I think this is a team that has to be given that respect. I think who cares about week 1 when they literally didn't have Gori? Yeah. Who cares about week 2 when Gori had 0 scrims with the team before he played? To me, you can basically wipe those away. This is a 7-1 team, right? And that's how I think you have to look at their actual power level going into playoffs. You know, I do think that they should absolutely make playoffs, and they think they should be a big threat as both players trying to sidestep here.
I mean, nice cleanse from Bolulu. It was just point blank, being able to dodge out on it, but for Golden Guardians, the pressure is still being felt. Even if they're not able to clean up that kill onto Bolulu, it is still just Immortals being pressed on backwards, and they're the ones with their backs against the wall.
I mean, the stale that you can always tell from, for me, is you just look at where the vision lines are, right? Everything for the Immortal side is defensive. They got some wards here, they got a couple wards here, they got one here, right? There's literally nothing, not a single ward across halfway point, right? And that just is showing you how far back they have to be. They're not comfortable even walking the river in most cases. Their only river wards are the ones they can do over the wall from their side, right? They're so uncomfortable to actually move out on the map. They know how bad their position is in this game. And it is a dragon stacking game here as well for Golden Guardians. It starts to feel like, well, they're gonna end already? It's 17 minutes, right? Like, this is very early on. It's a 5K lead. At 18 minutes, they can have their 3rd dragon. You're looking at 23-24 for a soul, which is really, really fast.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of time for Immortals to really kind of sit back and hope to get things done. And I just love how Golden Guardians is moving around the map as a squad, right? They invade in the jungle, they get down some forward vision, then they push down through bot, they take the tier 1, now they drop Herald here. They know with their wards, they're passing those wards that are in the jungle. That ward actually spotted the rotation down, so they know exactly what's coming, and Huhi's just moving in there looking for a pick, but here comes the TP flank. This could be a play that tries to pull him into the game.
Revenge, who does he decide to all out there? All-inning onto Gori. They get him charmed up, and Revenge is on top of it as well, but the fire back from River, Glacial Prison opens up space. Stixxay gets taken out because of it, and Gori still has HP to play with. Distortions forward, but it's Licorice that's pressing on forward with the engage. Immortals still 1-to-1 trade. They find River, and Immortals, they're starting to press on back. It's all on the tactical to put in the damage, and Bolulu the follow up, and as well, Charm connects. Gori double distortion, but it's not enough damage from Golden Guardians. The Immortals actually fight back.
Yeah, that is massive from Immortals, finding a window to try to get something done. Gori trying to go back in again for a kill, narrowly able to escape. The focus fire was just really good from Immortals in that fight. They get the early TP flank coming through. They knew they had to pull the trigger on a play. Unfortunately, they're still 5K down, but it does work out for them. You know, they push Gori out of the fight so early that then it's kind of Stixxay as this lone damage, because Renekton is very late to join. You know, Renekton is not actually TPing. You look at the map, Renekton now is TPing, but it's all the way down to here. Gori gets pushed out really, really early. He can't actually rejoin, and then all of a sudden, Stixxay is the front line because Licorice wasn't there yet. And, you know, Gori had been pushed back incredibly fast. Stixxay's just kind of dogpiled on. They take him out. Tactical it's chunked low, but they don't have enough damage to actually finish him off because their carries were really out of the fight. And then we all know what these Zeri moments can look like.
Yeah.
But Bolulu getting the resets on the Ahri is incredibly important. Gets another ulti reset, gets in there with the charm. Gori tries to find the angle to get in and get that damage down, but couldn't actually finish them off, unfortunately for them. It is back to live though. It's going to be another dragon going the way of Golden Guardians, but at least, you know, it's signs of life for Immortals. It's not them just rolling over.
Yep.
And it's some kills in your carries here, right? You know, the Ahri got a couple kills, the Zeri got a couple kills. So you can kind of hope, hey, maybe we can find another angle. Maybe we can find another moment here in 5 minutes at this soul. Hit your 2 items, hope you don't have 3, and you just see what you can get done.
Yeah, if you kind of tuned out for the past couple of minutes and you come back thinking, oh yeah, Golden Guardian is still ahead, nothing changed, right? I think, no, there's actually a big fight from Immortals that it was a good look.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they need to do it a couple more times before they're back in the driver's seat and control again. But it just, like you said, if Immortals are able to have the confidence to say, all right, guys, we're just pulling the trigger right here, right now. It's now or never. Just go for it.
I mean, it is a huge ask, but I will say, if you can have a really dominant fight, take away the next dragon, that'd be at Baron time. Maybe get a Baron. You know, like there's a way into this game. This is not a completely doomed game. But you know, if you lose Soul, I think it's probably lights out. So I do think that they are going to have to try to look and really play heavily for this next dragon. Try to find a way to get the early setup, because that play was able to happen since they actually were on their side of the map and they had flanking wards.
Yep.
They, again, have no vision out in the river, no vision out past the halfway point of the map. So they wouldn't even be able to find a flank like that in the situation they're in right now. Of course, they have time to actually get that down. They got about 4 minutes. So we'll see what they can make happen. Also would have loved to see, you know, some better communication from Licorice and his team to actually just get a ward dropped in the fight so he could TP and join in the fight, because he had to run so far to actually come in. There was a ward over by the fight, but I'm not sure if it was after or before his TP came through. Either way, that should have been cleaned up. Whoever's fault it was doesn't really matter, because if Licorice joins that fight instantaneously and he's there with Stixxay, maybe they can actually take that fight.
Yeah, Stixxay doesn't go down super early on. He's not a lone archer fighting on the battlefields all by himself. Immortals.
Sounded like you were going in some like little RP there, you know? One man, one archer stands alone
against the world. I mean, he was doing, you know, the B-roll shots earlier where he was just firing arrows.
True, that was a lone archer.
He was just playing character. Just unfortunately for him, the rest of the team
we should have known he was going to pick it.
Oh, true. Up for Golden Guardians, it seems like business is back to usual. Huhi making the engage, pulls them into the box. You see Bolulu on the right side. Gori's marking him, making sure that he cannot get into the fight and start sniping out Stixxay either.
Yeah, Gori just going over the wall there, forcing out the Everfrost, just harassing Bolulu. As you say, just kind of zoning him out. And he's going for a very aggressive build here. It is Gori going for the death cap second. And Stixxay's playing on-hit Varus here. He has the Rage Blade. You can two-man this if they're given time. And they're showing members mid, they're showing members top. So I don't think Immortals has any idea. They're all collapsing for Licorice.
And Hair's like, all right, guys, get this crocodile. And Lurker's like, all right, I'm buying time as much as I can. They all out takes him over to the left side. And Golden Guardians actually want to come back and support this fight. They trade Licorice for Kenvi. Bolulu with the flash almost finds Gori, but quick flash from Gori as well gets him out alive.
They're not bad. It is a trade 1-for-1. Jungler's dead. Do they actually go back? I don't think so. Huhi's going to get engaged on, but Gori's behind him.
Tacticles his sword right over, but he goes right onto Stixxay. Wait a minute, Immortals. This is a great angle to play from, because River and Gori is separated from Stixxay. Stixxay gets taken out of the fight, and now Tactical is revving up the damage, looking for more. Gori's forced a distortion away. There's no more Baron play for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, that is actually really big. All of a sudden, Bolulu 303, Tactical 303. They are sitting in a much stronger position now. Let's see how much gold he has on his base. He's got about 1,100. What is he going to buy up here, you know, for this next fight? I'm going to be interested to see if it's just like Caulfields and he wants to go towards Navori. It is so just Caulfields. Not the craziest buy, but, you know, again, proactive plays from Immortals. They're in a difficult spot. This is better than what we've seen from them. I think in a lot of weeks, it feels like they are playing with a little bit more confidence. They get that pick. And then Gori here, I was setting up a beautiful flank, but Bolulu says, get that out of here. Like, he's pushing him right out, because I thought when I saw Gori behind them that they were going to get collapsed on from both sides and they were going to get eliminated.
Yeah.
Bolulu creating that space on the side here was so big, because now they're zoned out and all of a sudden you have a 3v2, 4v2 situation that you've created over on the other side.
Yeah.
Him creating that kind of area that you couldn't walk through because Huhi was walking around. Excuse me, maybe it was actually Gori and River that were walking around, but those two basically got zoned out by Bolulu and segmented from their team. So all of a sudden, instead of a 4v4, it's a 4v2 and a 4v2.
Right.
They pile on to Stixxay. He has no protection. He goes down. So it's great team fighting from Bolulu there and great team fighting from Immortals.
Yeah, Bolulu, while the damage not matching Revenge and Tactical, his work was done in the zone control. And that was one of the few times where I'm very much okay on Zeri aggressively going over the wall like that, because not only you isolated the threats that cannot handle themselves, but you get yourself away from the scary LeBlanc and the Sejuani.
Because he wasn't inting. Roger. You're okay with it.
I've seen it a lot in Challengers League, man. I'm just saying.
All right, Soul, fight, fight, fight.
Here we go. This is Soul Point on the line for Golden Guardians. Permafrost onto Revenge, but he gets out just fine. Gori is on the right side looking for a flank, but they have a Vision Ward, so it zones him out completely. But Lulu, wait, hits the charm into Gori, and now Tactical's just free firing into the right side, and no one is affecting Tactical. Tactical's just ripping them apart. He's lighting them up. Tactical in the middle of 4 members, but he's not going down. How does he not die quite yet? He finally gets taken out, but Bolulu can look for the cleanup, the resets. But Golden Guardians persevere and endure what seemed like a winning fight for Immortals.
Yeah, that fight was looking doomed. Gori got a 1v2 outplay. He got a kill in the 1v2 on the side there. He was fighting both Kenvi and Bolulu, takes one down with him, and forced him to spend so much time and so many resources that is really what turned the fight, because the start of the fight looks so good, as you're saying. But watch Gori up at the top end of your screen, right around here. They go in for him. Bolulu finds this great charm as he walks over. He spots him, he goes in, is able to find it. It's a little bit later as it comes up. But that is so much about what this is about. The delay there from Revenge, buying time, and then right around here, as they actually engage, Bolulu hadn't spent his charm. Ulti charm over in on him. Fleshy is over there as well. Kenvi's going in. So all this time is actually being spent there onto Gori. He gets the kill, and then he's actually faking with the clones there, distorting back, wasting so much time. So while on the other side, we saw Tactical kind of going crazy, Bolulu wasn't there, right? So they had the extra member. They're basically in a 4v3 on that side, while Gori was in a 1v2 on the other side. So yes, Tactical did such a good job in that fight, but it was kind of just him alone on a solo mission. His jungler died on the other side. His mid laner really couldn't contribute. So even with that great fight, they were really down on resources.
Gori saving that, making sure that Bolulu doesn't get to be a part of the fight. Oh, wait, a flash from Revenge. Kenvi's into the pit, 1,500, 1,200. Who secures it? Licorice, out of all people. But they've already taken out Stixxay, and Gori cannot participate in this fight. The Baron is secured for Golden Guardians, but they're now down a member.
Yeah, they get that Baron, and they got the soul after the replay. So they are sitting in a really, really good spot. Some of their champions, not the best with the Cloud Soul, but movement speed always very valuable. And particularly on champions like Renekton, I think Cloud Soul is so strong. You pop that ulti, you can get right in the backline. Gori's got to be a bit respectful here. Playing with fire somewhat, as Tactical is getting pretty strong at this point. Yeah, has got to be closing in on the Navori. I wonder if we're going to see Bolulu actually just go for the book. He's got 10 stacks on his Dark Seal, so...
It wouldn't be the first time.
I mean, I actually respect it in this kind of situation. You're so far down. You need the X Factor. You need that gold efficiency. So here it is one more time. Gori and Huhi on the side. They're trying to actually get the finish on this. Revenge flashing into the pit. Kenvi flashing over there, trying to get in range. It does go for the Q, goes for the ulti, just gets into the pit. It's at 1,500. They have the laser coming through. Laser, it's to 1,300. There's a smite, 136, went to 19. I'm not sure if that was actually an auto or just an ulti tick from Licorice, but he gets it, and we're going to watch Revenge die, unfortunately, in the bot lane. Congrats, though, to Huhi. 3,100 assists.
Let's go, Huhi.
Across 2 different roles, across a variety of different teams. It's wonderful to see these veterans performing at a high level.
I mean, it's been a resurgence split for him, resurgence for Stixxay as well, especially answering back at all the criticisms he had on 100 Thieves. And we've talked about it a lot, but I'm more than happy to talk about it again. I mean, Stixxay and Huhi have been awesome this split, just bouncing back as Golden Guardians now crashing and taking out the bottom inhibitor, making their way through the mid lane. There's still a second-tier turret to take care of, but with the Baron empowered minion wave, they're going to make short work of it soon.
And I just like this position. They're kind of claiming this area, clearing out the vision there. Gori can play over the wall. Anytime LeBlanc and Thresh are playing from fog, it is so difficult to actually navigate that area. And they find the ult.
Tactical forced to use the cleanse to get out alive, and now he's facing himself beautifully on the back line, but can they chunk through the front line of Golden Guardians? They do it enough. They lose out on the inhibitor turret, but they protect the inhibitor at the very least.
Yeah, they are going to be able to at least defend that. Immortals are actually fighting pretty well. The problem is they just have had no map control. Pretty much it feels like the whole game. Things started to go bad for them early, and then they just started bleeding towers, you know. They've gave as good as they've got in all the fights.
Yeah.
But they've kind of lost the game outside of the fights because they've lost control of the map, they've lost control of vision, they've lost control of their jungle. And we've been seeing River be so effective, you know, with taking these objectives consistently, you know, getting the advantages anytime Kenvi tried to make a play and couldn't make it happen. They're losing something elsewhere, right? They're losing those early dragons, and that stacking has paid dividends at this point. Yeah,
it was the efficiency of what River did in contrast to what Kenvi got on the other side of the map. We saw that play where Kenvi was really waiting on making something happen on top side. They didn't get anything out of it outside of a flash from Licorice, whereas bot side River snowballs bot lane, reverts any damage that was done on top side, gets that turret completely taken out. And from there, just the map was choked out for Immortals to really play with. I mean, credit that they've been able to play out some of these fights, but this has always been a losing position that they've been in so far.
But the positive takeaway is definitely that they have stayed proactive. They have still looked for winning plays. You know, not playing not to lose. They are playing to win here.
Yep.
It is just from a very, very large deficit. And Golden Guardians having all the tools they need really now to try to close this one out. They're going to try to sync up these waves here. There's the supers coming through bot. We can see the wave actually being pushed through mid as well by Gori. And they're going to have 4 members here coming through top, with River kind of playing bodyguard a little bit so he can bounce between those waves if need be. But this is where things get really, really difficult. They're going to go for Gori.
Do they want it? Okay, flash, and then the charm from Bolulu. Almost 100-0. Gori gets out alive. Does he though? No! Gori still making it out. No harm, no foul whatsoever. And he's still got a TP, so, or not a TP, but he'll be able to respawn, recall, and he'll be able to join the fight.
That's one of those situations where itemization makes a difference. You know, Bolulu, when you're playing from this far behind, I don't think there's anything wrong with Banshees as an item in this game. You know, being able to eat a Varus ult or some damage from a hook or, you know, Sejuani ult, there's good uses for it. But when you're behind, I feel like you have to go for maximum damage because of these types of situations. Your only chance to come back is usually picks. And in this case, had he had a more aggressive buy than the Banshees, it probably is that little bit of extra damage to actually get him a kill.
And you wonder, maybe he feels the need to protect his lead, his 504 stacks on the Dark Sail, but it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Glacial Prison from Golden Guardians. They start the engage once again. Gori playing on the left side, chunking out Kenvi to about half HP. Cease and desist is coming up for Immortals. They might look to turn around this fight, but Elder has also respawned.
Yeah, Immortals gotta just flip it. You gotta, Kenvi might be dead.
Okay, they lock up Gori, but he still has the stasis to play with, but he doesn't get time to pop it. Gori is taken out of the fight. Immortals now have a 5-on-4.
Yeah, but we see that Revenge is in the base, and they know Kenvi has the base as well, because he had like 10 HP. So they will have a 5v4 eventually if they can actually set it up. Do Golden Guardians have confidence to start this? They don't. Golden Guardians kind of hesitate a little bit. I thought maybe they could actually just start on it instantly. They did not. Now Revenge is TPing out there, and Kenvi is going to be back from base. So if you get this Elder, you do have some chances. The Elder could lead to the Baron. The Baron could potentially lead to stabilizing this game a little bit here. You can see Rivers on the side. If he could steal this would be the backbreaker. He got spotted though.
9,000 HP. They try to turn onto him. Bolulu trying to zone him out, but he's forced to retreat to the left side of the flank. Licorice is taking up on the front side, gets pulled back by Huhi on the dark passage. Stixxay waiting for his time to shine and just pelt arrow after arrow into the backs of Immortals. River taking the Glacial Prison over the wall, chunking out Kenvi. Immortals members, their health bars are going low. Oh, they're gonna just TP to try to end. If they keep Immortals here, Licorice can look to just end the game. Off of Vineyard Waves, Immortals, someone has to recall.
They don't see Revenge though. Can River actually stop Revenge? They don't know where he is.
Revenge is channeling the recall right now. Elder Dragon, I don't know who secured the buff. It was Immortals, and now Licorice is all by himself trying to take out this turret, but I don't think he can get any more. He only got one Nexus turret. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, it is still Kenvi keeping alive. Tactical gets isolated and taken out by Golden Guardians, but the fact that Immortals have the Elder Dragon gives them a little bit of a window, but as I say that, Kenvi is routed off, and just like that, it's down to Bolulu and Revenge. Golden Guardians, they have all 5 members, and even without the damn Elder Dragon, they're going to look to push the end of game.
Yeah, you may not have the Elder, but it's a 5v2. Revenge and Bolulu I think there's almost no shot here. We'll see what they can get done.
All right, Bolulu Revenge. This would be a miracle if you could pull it off. Huge knockup from Revenge, but the damage from Bolulu, it's not enough. Fleshy is respawned as well. They find one, but River and Stixxay are just turned on to the Nexus. Stixxay is hitting one after another. Can they lock him down? No! Golden Guardians will close out this game.
That Golden Guardian's getting the win, but I'm not going to lie. That game got a little bit dicey. With the lead that they had, they can be happy to walk away with the victory. But I don't think they're going to be happy with the way that they closed it out from the massive lead that they created. Golden Guardians were running over this game, very, very dominant. You got to give credit to two Immortals, whose team fighting down the stretch was really solid. Bolulu, as well as Tactical, getting a lot done in a lot of these team fights. And had things gone a little bit differently around that Elder, potentially things go in their favor. When you get that Elder, if you can stabilize the game, get the Baron, who knows?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is Golden Guardians, another win under their belts here on their